Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Avi, and today I will be playing your local real kind detective, Shiro Azumi, and with me today are my two lovely, wonderful friends. Would you please introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Fletch, also known as Fletcher. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm playing uh everyone's favorite baby detective, Camille.
Hello, I am Oatmeal, and through trials and tribulations, I am playing Professor today. Um, Stuff happened. I'm playing Professor, and yeah, time traveling space alien, uh, trying his best.
God, is he
Grandpa who's
trying
a
his
little bit in
best?
denial.
Doing what, Fletch?
Grandpa who's a little bit in denial because he has trauma.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little.
Just a
Just a
Mhm.
little.
teeny bit for flavor.
Um, yeah, before we actually get into the meat of this FPS, we are still in Yellow Trip for this specific FPS, and you guys have been here long enough that I think I can do a funny little flavor thing. Uh, Real quick, do your characters explore the more like out of the way areas in Okashima while you're staying here?
Yes.
That for Camille, it heavily depends on who he is with. Uh, Considering he is very much not allowed to go anywhere on his own right now.
If we
He
So,
he would he would Professor would allow him to come with him if he wanted.
yeah, then sure.
I'm sorry. Knowing who Professor is an XP of, and knowing that Camille is a crime magnet.
uh, uh,
Hopefully it's not. I hope it's not as bad in Yeto.
No, it's not. It's not because it is in fact a real kind country.
And that would be a lot of murders to run into.
Yeah. But if you guys are walking through some like more back alley areas, and there are quite a few like back alley narrow spaces
mhm.
that do have like their own, I guess you could say, attractions. Why
Mhm.
don't you roll me? I think at this point you can do perception at advantage.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. You want Camille to roll perception? Okay. That's a 16 and a
Ooh.
16.
Do you want a 16 or
Plus
a
12.
16?
So you add 12 to that, and you get a
Oof.
28.
I got 23.
All right, cool. You both pass.
Ooh.
Yeah, no. Probably more around the Shibusawa area, which is if you're looking at real world Tokyo, it's based off of Shibuya, that whole big area. Um, there are like smaller, like I said, side streets and back alleys, where again there are like a few establishments, but like not the ones you would see on like say Central Street. Um, but here's an interesting thing: some of these walls outside are covered in old old posters, like a couple years old, and you can tell just by like how I guess the word would be dilapidated they are. They're kind of like they're definitely ruined by the elements. Um, but you have come across at least one or two posters, and again, these are really. Bucky, how the fuck did you open the door?
Oh.
Kitty crime.
I'm sorry, that like completely ruined my train of thought. Maki, what? Fine, you can stay in here, but you better not step on on my laptop. Fucking god. She's now just like trying to like rub her face right at my feet.
Or
Again, these are like really, really old posters, but you do find one or two promoting an upcoming like radio interview with a certain ace detective, the detective prince himself, Shiro Azumi. And again, these are old. Like somebody forgot to take these down. Old. In fact, with as high of a roll as you've gotten, you notice that some of these have actually been covered up by other posters. Specifically, campaign posters.
Alright, let me just roll something real quick.
And
For certain.
I do want to say this is probably like not like right before what's happening. This is probably something that you've come across while you've done
Different
your
day.
own exploring, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, Maki?
Yeah, we're not with Azumi right now.
Yeah. What you rolling?
So we all know what's up with Camille, right?
Yeah, we do.
Like, I would hope so at this point.
Hang on, Maki's committing more cat crimes. I'm kicking her out again.
Let's see how Camille does.
It's doing pretty great. But, I mean, it's over 10, so...
Yeah.
I'll wait for Avi to get back, since they are the DM.
Yes. Could be better, could be worse.
So that's let me guess, a 14 whiz save?
Yeah. So he's doing pretty alright, I would think. He is pretty mad, but you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
So he just, in a relatively calm voice, whenever he comes across one, as Camille has some fire-producing cantrip, so like whenever they pass by one and he notices, he'll just very calmly ask the professor to wait a moment, and then we'll probably just torch them.
I think Professor just lets him.
I can't believe you're just letting this perceived 7-year-old commit arson right here.
His name is Arsen. It's not that far away.
Yeah, no, I mean, Professor will, like, keep watch.
Oh my fucking god. But yeah, how's the Professor feeling about that too?
I mean, just kind of like a distant, like, bitterness, and like about the Azumi posters, like, themselves, like bitterness that they're covered up by these posters because that guy. But at Azumi's posters themselves, he's just sort of contemplative. It doesn't there is something, if any of them have like his face on them, like smiling or something. Uh, those are like uh, they something about them bothers him, and he knows what it is. Um, but other than that, he doesn't he doesn't really do anything about them.
You
He's
you
just sort of observing.
yeah, you already know what Azumi is like, and again, most of these posters, um, he is very photogenic in them.
Mm,
This is his Detective Prince persona at his peak. Um,
hmm
but the way these posters were covered up and the way they've just been like left out here, just that vibe of just people forgot him and then moved on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It it sucks, but he's not like as affected by it.
Yeah. Camille kind of just has personal reasons.
Valid.
And it is probably somewhat obvious to the professor at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they talked in Uncanny Child um briefly about this topic.
Hmm.
So yeah, he's like, yeah, go ahead, you know, take out your anger.
As you deserve. But
Yeah.
um that's the little bit I had for you for the beginning.
Mm.
Getting back to like the actual meat of what we're actually going to do in this FPS. Azumi's feeling better.
Ooh.
Not great, mind you, but better. Um,
hmm
Probably after the events of the solo FPS privileged, he came back to the ellipsis and was kind of just there for a bit. Probably even
hmm
said something to the professor, like just a greeting or something, and then like went back to his room for a bit.
hmm
Um,
a sliver of small talk that
yeah,
was unexpected, even if it was otherwise insignificant.
yeah. But he is doing better, and I will say, for the sake of your character's sanity and for everybody else's sanity, he is not at like that breaking point anymore. Uh,
Mm.
he is taken at least a few steps back, um, which means he's willing to go out again.
Mm.
Which is a good thing because he still has the keys to his old apartment from when he was still living in Okashima.
hmm
And for the time being, he's asked the both of you, Camille and Professor, to join him with uh, going back there
hmm
for a variety of reasons. One, he does not trust this. Two,
Yeah.
he's not sure what to expect. And three, he's very certain that nobody's going to let him go on his own.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that these keys showed up in his police belongings, despite not actually having been on him when he was taken into custody, very suspicious, we all agreed.
Yeah. Um, and he is probably the one that's leading you to the apartment, and you've gone through this more residential area of Okashima, a more residential district, I suppose you could say. And
Mhm.
the apartment building itself is pretty nice.
Mm.
Um, as you stick with him to the as you're like actually in the building, getting to that door. It is hard to really see a teenager living in a place like this.
It's too upscale. Yeah.
But yeah, eventually he he brings you to the right door, and he stops in front of it, kind of like looks it up and down, and says, "Well, here we are."
Just gonna cast Detect Thoughts real quick. On the place. Let's see. Is that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I can
Let me see real quick.
anything that's within 30 feet.
Yeah, you can also use this spell to detect the presence of thinking creatures you can't see. Search within 30 feet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's just gonna does he get anything from that just from standing by the door? Like obviously there's Camille and Azumi.
There is nothing inside the apartment that you've stopped in front of. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to do like my own spatial math in my head. Yeah, I don't think you would be able to pick up the other apartments, so like you're fine. But yeah, there is, as far as you can tell, there is nobody else in the apartment.
All right. Camille's gonna notice Professor casting and go, "This is a great chance for him to cast Detect Magic." So he's gonna do that real quick.
What are you casting? It like?
Oh, Detect Magic is just...
Yeah, like, are you looking for something specific, or is it just towards the door?
It's you just sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you.
I mean, other than the usual stuff. Sorry, other than the usual stuff that you would get from the professor and Azumi. Sorry, because they do both have their own set of magical items. Within 30 feet. Again, I'm trying to do spatial math in my head.
You're very valid.
Yeah.
If it's a multi-room apartment, it would probably go as far as the first room, but like not past that.
Yeah, I would say that like you don't sense any magic behind the door.
Okay. So Camille sort of gives a little nod and it's just, I don't really sense anything off.
Should we check it for traps?
Right. And I'm gonna have him roll investigation because he was just about to do that, actually.
Oh, nice.
What? We got Professor for the thoughts, Camille for the magic, and Azumi for the actual physical traps.
He did not have to flex like that because usually with traps it's a investigation roll, so
Yep.
He did not have to roll that high.
Oh boy.
As far as he can tell, however, you see him kind of just look over the lock and kind of inspect it, check the door, you know, all that fun stuff, and he's just not trapped.
Well, if it follows the trend, of this benefactor's acts. Maybe it's been renovated.
I don't know if I'd appreciate someone touching my belongings.
Mm.
Well, no way to know until we go in, I guess. You're sure you're ready for this?
He kind of glances down at you, Camille. And I'm going to say your insight is impeccable enough for you to catch this just in passive. One of his hands kind of just drops to his side. Um, uh, a very subtle hint, nudge, nudge. Um,
It's now within reaching range, so he will very gently take it.
and Azumi is just going to say, no time like the present, I suppose.
And will give a little nod at that and looks back at the door.
Azumi's going to give like one last glance in the professor's direction, but if he doesn't have anything else to say, he's just gonna unlock it.
Yeah, he just like looks back like, what, would you rather I cast knock? Like
If you say that out loud, you say that out loud, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Azumi just kind of gives you like an unimpressed look before he just like continues with the key. uh, but yeah. Insert the key. He turns it. The door unlocks. And he opens the door, and without ceremony, you can enter the apartment.
Yes, we do that.
Yep.
All right. I barely thought about the layout of his apartment, so I don't have any like maps for you, unfortunately. But I will say, even if it is a very, very nice apartment, it is a one bedroom apartment. Sorry. It does have a living space. It does have a kitchen. Uh, uh, there is a bathroom and there is a closet. And all of these areas are furnished. There is still furniture here. There are still quite a bit of belongings. In fact, why don't you roll me Percepi?
Hey.
17 for Professor.
Okay. Yeah, Camille's is disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Um. Professor and Camille, this place looks like it hasn't been touched, aside from the fact that there has not been like a gathering of dust.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it looks like Azumi had left just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Like this place looks like it's been lived in pretty recently.
Okay.
That's noted. Fun,
I would.
even.
Like I'm trying to trying to paint this picture. It's like a snapshot, you know? Like if this were 2 years ago, not 2 years ago.
There would be dust.
Mm-hmm.
No, no,
No?
I'm trying to figure out how to put it into words. It looks like Azumi never left.
Mm.
Weird.
Yeah.
So this is like weird, not just like, oh, nobody touched it since he was there. This is like there is no dust. Like it looks like it was almost time locked.
In a sense, uh, but I assume Professor can does have a sense for that innately.
If it was active, definitely. If it was something that uh wasn't currently like
Oh,
activated, then maybe.
yeah, no, you don't really sense anything in that respect. Then,
Hmm.
Azumi looks for the switch and finds it rather easily, and there is light in the apartment. Um, and you see him kind of go through the motions of taking off his jacket and um, kind of just places it on a coat rack, and he's going to step further, and he says, "Don't go in my bedroom." Before he kind of just starts to look around the whatever's in the living room to make sure that
All
things
still
haven't
there.
been messed with.
Yeah.
I Camille's gonna Camille's gonna head over to the fridge first, I think.
I had the same thought.
uh,
Professor's just going like, this is weird. Like this there should be mold, there should be a smell.
yeah, it should not be pristine.
It should
So
not be this fresh.
time to investigate the kitchen.
Okay.
Hmm.
If you're investigating the kitchen, roll me investigation.
We'll also
Okay.
roll.
Thanks, Camille.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Y'all are blowing this out of the park. I love y'all for that. Um, um, yeah, no, Azumi did not cook, um, uh, when he was still living here. He did not make things from scratch. Camille, you know firsthand that Azumi is bad at cooking, and he is learning to cook, but he's not great at it.
Yeah, Camille's assumption would be less that there's ingredients and more that there's stuff like beverages or leftovers or even just cereal.
Actually, the fridge is practically empty. Anything that could have rotted over the years is there's nothing in there.
Hmm.
You are able to find plates and cups and stuff in where you would expect to find them, in different cabinets and drawers and stuff. But stuff that could have gone bad is just there's nothing there.
Like dirty dishes in the sink.
Are there dirty dishes? Or is that what you're asking?
I said like no dirty dishes in the sink
Yeah,
because like if
no,
you've got food in there, then that can also go.
no.
Mm.
In fact, if you check the dishwasher, there's nothing in there too. Everything is uh, just put away.
Hmm.
This is weird. It's it's like if you got like housekeeping for an apartment. But one, he doesn't have that, and two, why would anyone, except for our mysterious benefactor, do this?
It is very strange. Yeah. I Shiro, when you left, did you like have any food in the place?
I did. Mostly microwavable things. He sounds a little sheepish when he says that.
Oh,
Uh,
Hmm.
11.
I'm actually gonna roll him a quick history to see if he can remember something.
Hmm.
Oh shit, okay. What was your history mod? You don't have proficiency in this, but like you still rolled a 19 on the dice.
It decided to go off today, I guess.
I guess. um, you see Azumi kind of like look around, and he says, well, he takes a deep breath first of all, and he kind of seems to have realized something, and he goes, now that I think about it, I think I left the living room in a bit of a disarray.
Mm.
Uh, he didn't just preserve things as they were, they actually cleaned up.
They wanted things to be nice and ready to be lived in for when you returned.
Is there anything here that wasn't there before?
Hmm.
I'm gonna roll him a quick investigation. Oh, that's a 5 on the dice.
Oh,
Oh no. I mean, to be fair, if I remember correctly, his modifier is still kind of stupid. Yeah.
ooh.
Um, yeah.
Low for him, but 16.
Yeah. Um, when he rolls investigation, the lowest he can get is a 12. So, uh, that's on a nat 1. But,
Yeah.
again, you see him kind of like look around the living room. Um, and he, kind of just checks around, and you see his brow kind of furrows. And he says, not entirely sure. As far as I can tell, there's nothing out of place or out of the ordinary, but he kind of brings a hand to his head and kind of like rubs it against his face, and he's just like, my memory of the past few weeks before I died is not exactly the clearest.
I
Mm.
can't exactly blame you for that. Um, he thinks for a bit. How about this? Was there anything about the apartment that annoyed you? Like, was there a miscolored spot on the rug? Or was the microwave too loud? Were the walls thin? Or something like that?
Creaky door, uneven table.
You see him kind
Because,
of paused. And I think it would be really funny if he does that because this has been. And he says, once again, pointing at the both of you, he says, "Don't go in my bedroom." And he's gonna go to his bedroom door and open it. It creaks.
Well, didn't fix that.
And he is standing in the doorway of his bedroom, but he is looking the door up and down, and then he kind of looks back to the bedroom, and he says, "Give me a moment," and is going to close the door.
Professor just sort of like crosses his arms and gives Camille a sort of like sideways glance and a bit of a smirk, and he says, "Whatever he's got in there, it can't be anything I've never seen."
Shut the fuck up! He's this young man. Let him have a little bit of privacy.
Real kind of just snorts like, "I imagine trying to find something that you haven't seen would actually be quite a bit of a challenge."
I think it would be. Granted, this planet has been better at it than most.
Just gonna bully him.
How so?
Well, I mean, I didn't know Toons existed before I landed. Crashed.
Crashed.
Yes.
Neil's kind of raising an eyebrow.
I kind of materialized in the sky and it didn't prime the repulsors, so it just kind of fell.
Wait. Neil's about to be so mean, and I'm just shaking him like, "Please don't. Barely anyone understands that joke, buddy." Kind of just gives the professor a little bit of a smirk as he just sounds like a little bit of an elementary mistake, if you ask me.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up.
Come on.
Bullied.
They don't really have anything else to do right now.
I mean, you could continue investigating.
Yes. Professor is going to go look for where somebody might keep tools or potentially weapons, because he knows what Azumi used to do.
I think Neil's probably just gonna trail behind.
Well, there is a closet.
Oh yeah, let's look at that.
Okay, you open the closet. There aren't, like, weapons in here, because this is still kind of in the, broader, more public, I guess you could say,
Sure.
Area. I mean, even if Azumi did not expect, to be, to have visitors, you probably wouldn't expect him to be, because he was kind of a lonely kid. You
still be careful.
Yeah, you still wouldn't keep that in, like, your closet, or the main closet or whatever.
No, you put the skeletons in your bedroom closet.
Indeed. But there is, like, a couple of stuff you would use for, like, cleaning. There are quite a few boxes, like cardboard boxes, and I'm not sure if the proper term is storage containers, like those plastic storage tubs.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like one or two of like one of those, a couple of boxes, and what looked to be like awards.
Mm.
Um,
Do
yeah,
they say anything on them?
yeah. If you pick one of them up,
Yes.
I'm not sure what year specifically this would be for him, but you do see that Azumi, let's say probably around the time he would have been in middle school for us Americans,
Hmm.
was top of his class. He
Mhm.
got the best grades out of anybody in his entire student body.
Mhm. It's approximately age 12 to 11 to 13.
Yeah.
Top of the class. Mm.
Huh. I bet
Hmm.
Camille's gonna note that because it is a bit odd to keep awards in the closet, but like
This is
he
Azumi we're
doesn't.
talking
This
about.
is Azumi, so yeah, that tracks. Just another one for the bin titled, "Oh, this guy sure has problems."
Hmm. Professor's just kind of like holding it, and he looks thoughtful and he says, like, well, I can see that any scrap of attention would be valuable.
I suppose so. Well, if it's here, it's not the attention that he wanted.
Perhaps not. Or he outgrew it. But they are still here.
There's a nod.
Sometimes you have to fall back on the past.
I suppose so.
What is in these storage containers? Professor's going to take one out and he's going to open it.
Uh,
I you go, because I was just gonna say Camille's gonna root through another one.
Hmm.
um, if you're going for the storage bin specifically, I'm trying to, what was it? Oh, God, there were different things.
You said there were boxes and then there were storage bins.
Yeah, most of the storage bins are like, you both met Shiro Hadasan, so you would know that Azumi did have to like study to become the detective he is now, and he trained really really hard. So in the storage bin there is like old, and we're talking like really really old, like tools that you would use um,
Detective work?
for detective work.
Forensics and stuff?
Forensics and stuff. There's probably like some old like inorganic pieces of evidence that have been kept in like sealed bags.
Mm-hmm.
Probably from old casework that he assisted with. Um, um, the more you go through this, the more you get the feeling that he kind of like kept those around for like sentimental value.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but I want to say that like there is like a divider or something, because there are like a couple of like other stuff that you would find. Like old textbooks and workbooks, stuff that he would use to study. Again, emphasizing the fact that he tried very, very hard to get good grades in when he was still in school. Camille, the first box you open has a whole bunch of case folders.
He'll probably start leafing through some of the oldest ones.
Oldest... Oh.
He's a curious little guy.
Again, comparing them to, like, old casework that he might have worked on when he was still training under Shiro Azumi. Nothing so big as murder yet, until you start getting to when he started, like, working on his own, and you realize that there are quite a few odd cases. Let's roll investigation, actually. This is something you are good at.
Yeah, he's had to go through a lot of case files in his time.
Just Camille, or?
Well, Camille's the one's going through the
case files. The case files. Got it.
All right. Yep. The more you go through some of the cases, after you get past the point where he was, like, still training under Shiro Azumi, he starts going on his own. You see, like, an ordinary case or two, and then you find one that is of, let's say a bus driver who had lost control of the bus, and it had tipped over with the occupants still in it. There's quite a bit of forensics work. The bus driver, in the records, the bus driver has no memory of this happening. With A28, you're pretty sure, Camille, that you've come across the first recorded incident regarding the mental shutdowns and psychotic breakdowns.
Yeah, Camille's just gonna tug on the professor's coat, like, Professor, you probably want to take a look at this one. And he'll hand it over.
Yeah. And as you go through the rest of these folders, you see more and more, like, cases that are related to the mental shutdowns and psychotic breakdowns. The psychotic breakdowns being that these people will just have episodes of just not acting how they normally would, and then, like, not having memory of that afterwards. Usually they tend to act violently, but with the mental shutdown cases, the victims of the mental shutdown themselves do not survive. In most cases, it is ruled as heart failure, or some other kind of physical function. But yeah.
Some sort of natural death.
Yeah. And the further along you go, further and further closer to the present, in this timeline, you start to notice it gets to a point, there's like 2 or 3 years of the psychotic breakdowns and mental shutdowns, and then the first case of the spirit rogues.
Mm.
Hmm.
Which is a high school PE teacher who had turned himself in. He had been. I'm not going to make up a funny term for fantasy Olympics, but he was a. He won a gold medal in, let's say, some sort of like international sports event, and then became a PE teacher, and then he confessed to multiple crimes, which I will not go into in this FPS because I was not expecting to.
Understandable. I have played through that part, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's not nice.
It is not.
Yeah. Well, there seems to be just about everything here.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
oh, continue.
Oh, yeah, Camille's just agreeing.
This is of course not just in like the only box you look through. These boxes are mostly like the case work he's worked on.
Mm-hmm.
And like outside of that, yeah, there might be like one or two cases that are like unrelated that he just kind of like helped out on, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Camille, does it strike you as odd that after he went missing, nobody came in here and took these things?
I imagine at the very least someone would take them as evidence, considering what they are and what they detail. So it is very odd that it's still here.
Yes. Even if perhaps they had similar copies uh, um, at the police
They would have at least searched this
records.
place top to bottom, and I don't think they would have bothered putting it back together afterwards.
Quite, quite. Hmm. Well, I mean, this all fits.
And it does.
I I'm sorry, I have the mental image because of how small Camille is and how tall the professor is.
Hmm.
I'm just imagining like Camille is like standing with a couple of the case holders, and then Professor is sitting on the floor in front of these
Yeah,
boxes,
yeah,
which
absolutely.
I think is
And
like really.
it's probably still taller too.
Yeah, probably.
I find that incredibly entertaining. Is there anything else you want to look for?
uh, is there anything in the closet that they haven't gone through yet?
Um,
Uh, it said, uh, uh, Abby said there was like a number of boxes. I don't know how significant those were.
oh yeah, those were the case files were what were in the boxes.
Ah, okay.
Um, or at least a few of the boxes.
Hmm.
Um, if there is another box you want to open, there are old newspapers in there.
Uh, I think Professor might grab that, uh, just because media. Maybe he should take a look first.
Yeah. Camille's just gonna peek over the professor's shoulder.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, most of these are actually rolling investigation.
Oh,
Professor, because you're the one holding them.
yes. All right. That's a good roll. That is, let's see, my modifier is that 25.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. You're probably grabbing these and looking through them from the top of the stack to the bottom, I'm gonna assume.
Yeah.
Um, a good majority of these, of these, newspapers are, of, reporting Shiro Azumi's accomplishments. Um, and it starts off with sorry, there is a ringing in my ear. Ooh,
Oh, that's not good.
I'll be fine. um but yeah, most of them are like of Shirazumi's accomplishments, things that he solved or assisted the police with. um uh there is a lot of praise to him in these newspapers. You do find a few that go further back in the timeline, um, of him when he was still working with Naoya Shirahata. Um, but back then he was just called Shirahata-san's apprentice.
Hmm.
Or, what's the term? Kohai? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, uh, Strangely enough, you do see that there are newspaper that predates Azumi going into detective work.
Hmm.
Some of these are about some of the things that Naoya has worked on. And as you rifle through these newspapers, something slips out of the stack that you've grabbed and flutters to the ground.
I want to see what that is.
Mm-hmm. Camille will probably grab it since Professor probably has his hands full,
Hmm.
and he'll show it for sure.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a piece of an article that had been torn out, and it looks like it was done unintentionally.
Hmm.
Um, but the article, and you're probably able to find it easily because that was a 25 on investigation. The article specifically is from when Shirahata-san was a teenager.
Ooh.
Um,
Oh.
yeah. The article is about a how Shirahata-san was able to find the culprit of a case of serial kidnappings and murders in a small town called Fuefuki,
Mm.
which, Professor, you've heard the name of before. That is
He's
Arata's hometown.
okay. Yeah.
Um, Shirahata-san had helped find and apprehend the culprit. Oh, I forgot his first name. Oh no!
Oh no.
Let me see if I can find it.
There. Also, question: since Azumi did give Camille the Murders in the Fog book, uh, would Camille also have heard about that particular town name?
Uh, Probably not, because it is a fiction based on the events.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you
They'd
know,
have changed it. Yeah.
yeah. It's probably not that hard to put two and two together, but like,
Yeah.
that's if you were looking for it. I am going to mispronounce this so badly. Please bear with me. Um, but it is the article itself is talking about how Shiro Hada-san apprehended the culprit, who was a police detective named Taira Adoru. And the piece of the newspaper that was torn out, again, looks like it was torn out accidentally. There is a lot of creases in this particular paper, indicating that it was held with quite a bit of pressure.
Mm. Interesting. This was important somehow.
Can I roll intelligence to see if Camille puts together some pieces?
Which pieces?
Specifically the piece of the article probably sounds pretty similar to the book he read and that Azumi gave him to read. And I'm pretty sure that he didn't mention his uncle by name, but I'm pretty sure, didn't Izumi mention that he had an uncle that was in jail for murder at
Yes.
some point?
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, go ahead and
I think between those three pieces.
go ahead and roll.
Okay. Fuck you, Camille.
Oh,
What'd you get?
You're going to fail one of these days and I'm going to laugh at you.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, with the 21, Camille, the description of the murders in the article does ring familiar with the novel you read, Murders in a Fog, right? So you are able to piece together that hey, this might be the actual real world murders that book was based on. In fact, as you're thinking about it, there probably was like a section towards the back of the book talking about like the development of it. Shiro Hada-san did have a helping hand in helping the author, Yui Nakamura. Is that what he was called? Did I name him that? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Shiro Hada-san did help Nakamura-san write this book. But you're thinking about it more, and you do remember that conversation you had with Azumi about him relating to you, because you also have a family member, or someone you consider a family member, who is also a murderer.
Yeah. So I think Camille does kind of unintentionally let out a ow noise.
do you know something?
I guess a little bit. Sorry, I just looked back at the gallery. That was a mistake.
We can't do this again, Marcy. You did this last night. Can't do this again here.
I guess that's the newest joke of the week.
God.
Last year it was Welcome to My House of Mirrors, Detective. This year it's He's Just Like Me for Real.
Shut up.
Anyways, Camille kind of just thinks about how to say it as he's just, well, I think I might have an idea as to why this was important and why it got torn up the way it did. Uh,
Yes.
so I have a hunch that the person in the article might be Shiro's uncle, or at
His
least uncle figure.
mm,
He mentioned to me that he had one that was in jail for murder. Um,
his expression kind of uh sharpens, and he says, like, which side of the family do you know?
I he didn't mention uh we didn't really talk about it too much.
Mm,
Uh, you want to roll insight?
yeah. Yeah. Uh, that's a 5. No, wait, 7. Why did I say 5? Yeah, 7. That's probably not gonna get me anything.
Yeah, you don't get much, but you do get that it is a little bit personal, which is why he's being so dodgy right now.
Yeah. He doesn't know why. He's just like, all right. Hmm. His uncle. Interesting.
So
Interesting.
why do you specify which side of the family?
Uh, well, it might make a difference.
Real is looking at Professor expectantly.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of info that I forgot, but there had, in the article too, there was mention that Shiro Hata-san was helped out with a bunch of other high school students. Uh,
Ah,
but, like, that's Persona 4 for you. But yeah.
nice.
Sure is.
Hmm. The professor just sort of like um props his chin on his hand, and just sort of like uh looks looks off at the rest of the room, kind of uh thoughtful. He has not answered your question.
What's up, Professor?
Hmm. Well,
This is a very funny visual of just Professor very pointedly not looking at Camille as he like leans over the professor's shoulder.
hmm. Well, you know, um, he's he's not a tune. His story didn't start uh with his coming into existence.
You, Professor, I was born in a real kind country. You don't need
No,
to
I know.
explain that.
He just puts his hands over his face, like, no, that's not what I'm saying that his at least immediate lineage is relevant to all of the rest of this.
And can I know how so?
I I don't I don't know if I should say, because he didn't so much tell me as I figured it out.
Now I feel kind of bad for spilling the bit about the uncle.
Professor just kind of like, just kind of makes of like a face and shrugs, like.
It would be really
Well.
funny if Azumi came back right now.
What
Yeah.
are you two fucking talking about? .png.
Yeah, no, you probably hear the door creak open again.
Neil is going to very quickly shove that back in the box.
Professor was the one holding the newspapers. You were the one holding the case files.
Well, yeah, but he's holding the
He had specifically that one bit that got torn out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just shoves it back in the stack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Azumi is rubbing a hand against his face. He looks a little bit tired.
Mm-hmm. Is everything okay in your room?
We're going through your stuff.
Yes, I expected you to. He knows exactly the kind of man you are.
Good.
To Camille, though, he says, well, as far as I can tell, everything's mostly the same with my bedroom. You can come in now.
Mostly the same?
I could have sworn I left that in disarray, too.
Professor just makes, like, a funny face at Camille.
Camille looks back at the professor.
We're allowed to go in his bedroom now.
Shut the fuck up! Izumi kind of looks like this. Hang on.
Is it
like this?
Yeah. Just very disappointed. Okay. Oh, right. One last question about the door. Did you find its creaking annoying, or was it just sort of a part of the apartment? Or did you perhaps even think that it could perhaps be useful?
He kind of shrugs and says, honestly, I'd forgotten about that.
I suppose that is fair. And he's gonna start packing up the stuff so he can make his way over to the bedroom.
I don't think Professor's gonna pack the stuff away. I think he's just gonna go to the bedroom.
You go through his stuff and you don't even clean up after yourself? Wow.
He'll do it after. He's in information gathering mode.
Camille is gonna send Professor a very flat look as he's just, you're not even gonna clean up?
It's not going anywhere. I'll come back.
He runs the hand down his face and follows suit.
If I ever invite you into my apartment ever again.
Yeah, I'm very glad that I never had him over, actually.
Zumi just kind of snorts.
I mean, I didn't exactly have a lot of stuff, but still.
I'm fucking crying over
They are both horrible.
He's just sort of like, he's already just sort of like poking into things in the bedroom, and as he says, like, yes, I'm a terrible house guest.
Alright, you're in a new area. Both of you roll perception.
Okay. Ha! That's what I fucking thought.
Did you fail the roll?
I mean, it's still 14, but yeah, he did get a 2.
What was that, investigation?
Perception or investigation.
What did Camille do?
He did, that was perception.
Alright, I'm gonna take investigation then.
Yeah, I think what happens with Camille is he probably got distracted. Maybe did stay behind to try and clean up a bit.
I fucking love him.
Like, maybe one of the articles or something was clinging to him, so now he's just gonna go back and put it there and then come back.
God, yeah, no. There is plenty to like look through and get distracted by. It is a pretty plain looking bedroom. There is a desk, a nightstand, a bed, a dresser, and a closet. That's pretty much all there is here in terms of like furniture. But there is, again, stuff related to Azumi had awards in the closet in the outside of his bedroom. There are more. His desk has kind of like one of those like bookshelves. Do you know?
Sure?
He
Like on the top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any like bigger academic awards are here. One of them is broken. You see that, Professor.
What is that one for? Because that seems significant. If it's significant. If it's not, then...
I did not decide on... I did not pick anything specific. I'm sorry.
Okay. So one of them is busted. Because.
One of them is busted. Look, you know this kid. He's got anger issues.
Yeah.
Again, there's a closet, there's stuff there, there's like books and whatnot lining up the shelves. There is, actually, I think I'm going to throw this in here because I think it's funny. Leaning against, the wall right next to the closet is a cue stick, one that you would use for, like, billiards. Professor, with your 19, though, there are no pictures in this room of anyone who would be Azumi's family.
Ugh. Yeah. He's not surprised, but yeah, still.
Yeah.
Do you have any secret hiding spots or...
In the closet.
Got it. That's where he's going next.
Professor. Camille's gonna trot after Professor.
What?
Alright, yeah, you go into the closet. It is a, relatively decently sized walk-in closet. Again, this is a nice apartment. It is very hard to imagine that Azumi was,
a normal teenager.
Yeah. Was able to afford this. Actually, I'll hold on to that bit of info later. Azumi, not Azumi, the closet does have clothes in it. You notice that the clothes in here are not the typical things you would see an ordinary teenager wear.
Yeah.
Most of these are business casual and proper, for lack of a better term. But there is, again, a couple of, like, storage bins, I guess. Thank you, Fletch.
I have to make a joke, okay? He fucking wears bow ties and a suit jacket as a 6-year-old. I don't think he really... I don't think that would strike him as odd.
Alright. Take your time, Oatmeal. But, like, yeah, no, that's... That's fair. I simply shake around.
Because, you know, Toon.
Azumi and Camille match. Dress like losers. Thank you, audience.
It's just like me for real.
Shut up!
Hello.
Hi, you good?
Well,
yes.
Alright.
Yep, just had, talking.
Okay. Yeah, there was a couple of, like, I guess stuff stashed away in, like, different, like, not necessarily, like, containers, but, like, bins, even though there is, like, another, like, storage bin closer to the back. But, yeah, what do you want to poke at first?
Storage bin in the back of the closet's a decent bet.
Okay. As you get closer to the back of the closet, you spot a rapier.
Oh.
It is a very strange looking. I guess rapier would be a word for it. At least mechanically, it's a rapier. It is, the blade is glowing. Not glowing. The blade is red. And one end is serrated.
This is a curious weapon.
Where did you... Oh. You go.
Oh, if Camille's gonna ask where he got it from, he's gonna answer that.
Yeah, Camille was just gonna ask where Azumi got it from.
I'm sorry, I'm still coughing.
No, you're good.
Azumi just just says, I had it commissioned a few years back.
Is it practical?
I mean, normally serrated edges do more damage when, I don't know if I should say it on recording, but,
yeah,
you know.
Hang on, I'm gonna... Okay, yeah, first, what, you fucking disgusting man. That was a deception roll.
Okay, time.
He's kind of, like, standing off to the back, and, he's not in the closet with you guys, but he is still in the bedroom. He's not looking in your direction.
Alright, insight time. Just barely makes it.
Oh, wonderful. Good. Camille, you barely notice him, cover his mouth right before he started smiling. As you were talking about how, serrated blades work better in some senses.
Yeah, he's not gonna say anything about that. It's just he'll just continue explaining to the professor in nondescript detail to the audience. Just how terrifying serrated blades are, actually, especially on a weapon that is normally used to pierce.
Yeah, he just he's like, no, I know that. I meant like, it, I meant, did you use this or is it decorational? I can guess,
I used it.
but all right.
Do you? It is a very unique blade. Do you do anything else in terms of like poking at it?
Um, probably worth casting Identify.
Okay. Let me.
I can
Yeah.
paste that if you want.
Oh no, I already got it pulled up.
Okay, good.
Uh, hey, Professor.
Mm.
This is a flame tongue rapier.
Mm.
Bonus action to do an additional 2d6 fire damage.
Uh-huh. He just sort of like I think he's just like holding it by the handle, like hefts it and just sort of like whistles like, ooh.
What is it?
Flame tongue rapier. Quite powerful. This is a formidable weapon.
Now is not the time to bully Azumi.
Bully him. He's right here.
Yeah, I think as Professor says that, Camille somewhat absent-mindedly tacks on, and flashy.
Guilty as charged.
Yes, well, I don't think one would be particularly stealthy with this anyway. What else have we got in here?
Alright, yeah. The flame tongue had been like leaning against a wall right next to the storage bin towards the back. You open the storage bin. There is thief equipment and a costume. Let me see if I can pull up the ref for it. If you want to roll a quick investigation, and I will
Yes.
work with that in a second.
All right.
As I go.
Should
Both of you can.
roll? Okay.
That's the wrong one. There it is.
Investigation 25.
Okay. I love pulling up this ref every single time because the mask for it is so fucking funny.
Is it the one I think it is?
It is.
Absolutely hilarious.
Every time I think about this outfit, I can never take it seriously because of the mask. Possible Scopo. It is.
Yeah.
It is an attire that is mostly white and red. There is a mask with a sort of long pointed nose, and there is a cape and capulets and a sash, and it all looks really, really nice. The gloves are a pristine white. With y'all's investigation rolls, this would be more befitting for someone who would be a not a detective but a phantom thief.
It fits the vibe,
Yeah.
Mhm.
especially with the mask.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of flashy,
Professor is just like holding up uh like pieces of it, and he just turns and he just looks absolutely delighted. Like, look at this. Oh, finally something interesting.
Oh, shut up.
any
There's more in the bin, and Professor, you were looking for weapons.
Yes.
Uh, you do find those,
Mm-hmm.
except they're not necessarily weapons. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you see a toy gun. Like it is very clearly a toy that you would see manufactured for, like, say a sci-fi TV show,
Yeah, blaster.
like a blaster. You see stuff like that, and you see swords that would light up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, these weapons are not real, except one,
Mm-hmm.
a pistol that is still loaded.
I was just going to say he's gonna check.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
assumed you were going to.
yeah, he just he does actually know how to handle uh guns, but he picks it up and he's gonna take the ammo out of that.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good idea.
Mhm. So, why do you have all this? I mean, I guess I can understand some of it, but I feel like I'm missing a piece of the puzzle for other things.
Mm.
You see him kind of like uh step back towards you guys, because he did kind of like step away for a bit as if to like look
Mm.
at something else. Oh, hang on, I am being DM'd.
Mm.
Okay.
Sorry, I was telling my roommate uh earlier that they were Tumblr sexy manifying Tefkerka,
Uh,
and they
Oh,
just saw it.
it's the sexy man came in.
yeah.
Um, but uh, Azumi comes back and he says, he kind of looks like he's trying to figure out how to give you a shortened version, and he says, "Well, when I was trying to capture the spirit rogues, I pretended to be on their side for a bit."
I knew it.
And
Hmm?
you go.
You say that, Professor, and he kind of just
Uh-huh.
closes his eyes, like, yeah, sighs at that, uh, and he continues, and he says, "I was only able, uh, I was only ever actually able to capture the one, and Trickster escaped police custody by faking his death."
Ah.
Yes, that is a very effective way of getting out of things.
Mm. So I suppose then that these, like many things, um, have a slightly different uh, appearance uh, in the other plane.
He kind of You see him like very quickly smirk before his expression returns to that neutral, and he says, "In the Paraverse, your enemy expects you to come into battle prepared with weaponry. If you are purposefully throwing yourself into battle, they have no reason to assume that your weapons are fake, and therefore they perceive those weapons as real."
You see.
Clever.
Guess that answers my question about them. He is also very much filing that away. Because at this point, he was still very much on the case.
Hmm. Kind of satisfied that the gun can no longer go off. Professor is just going to like put it back in the bin. I think he's just palmed the ammo.
Fucking god.
That's
just
hilarious.
steal his goddamn ammo. What is this? A video game?
Oh my god. Ammo. Yeah, he just kind of like looks at it for a second and I mean, he can guess what that was used for. Because he wouldn't have needed that in the Paraverse. In this plane, however.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Azumi kind of looks at like what you're holding, and he says, "Oh, that's interesting.
Hmm?
That pistol was in with the storage container last time I was here."
It. Wait, was or wasn't?
Wasn't.
Oh. Where was it?
He kind of pauses and thinks, and he says, I'm gonna roll him a quick history.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. He kind of, again, he looks like he's trying very hard to remember, and he says, I think it was in my coat pocket. The coat.
Huh.
Was it loaded? Because that's very irresponsible, you know.
I wasn't exactly in the best state of mind back then.
But, well, it was. Our benefactor didn't provide you with this.
I don't remember. Like I said, that
might have been, might not.
Do either of you want to roll a quick insight?
Absolutely.
Sure.
None of my insights have been good so far, but...
That's what I fucking thought you'd say, you stupid fucking detective.
Thank God Camille's here. Freaking 13.
Camille is the guy who can back up Professor's Professor's talk, I guess.
Yeah. It's like the one intelligence check that I haven't beefed with a proficiency.
Yeah, I mean, with the 13, you can at least tell that Azumi's gaze falls back on the trophy that got busted.
Mm.
Camille, however, you know that sort of feeling you get when like you see something that gives you like bad memories and you just have like this really really bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
That's the kind of expression Azumi has on his face as he's looking at that trophy.
is what's wrong?
He kind of, his gaze doesn't fall away from the trophy, and he is still staring at it as he answers. And I'm trying to find the right words to use. Give me a sec.
Mm.
In the period of time that no, I suppose I should start with this. Camille, when I was still working as an assassin, I had gotten orders to kill the leader of the Spirit Rogues. In the period of time after Trickster had faked his death and before they announced that they were targeting Mitsuyoshi's Endo, I can remember names, guys.
You have a lot of names, to be fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matsuyoshi Endo. I had fully believed that he was dead and I was the one who killed him. With a 27. Camille, you know Azumi pretty well. You know that he has anger issues. And you know that he is bad with emotions.
Yeah.
It is not that hard to imagine him in a fit of rage, in a fit of like tumultuous emotions, him lifting that trophy and bringing it down against a desk.
Yeah. Hmm.
And again, Azumi did say that he remembered leaving this place in a state of disarray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Camille is gonna make his way over to Izumi and sort of he's gonna sort of hold his hand out if Izumi wants to take it.
He kind of blinks like he just noticed you walk over to him, and then he just kind of, instead of taking your hand, he kind of like pulls you in closer. Not exactly a hug, but like you are like right up against him now.
Mm-hmm.
You're so small, Camille. He can't reach your shoulder. His hand is probably like on your head.
Yeah, he's a very little boy. It's fine.
You're
He
so
cannot help this.
small.
Mm.
But yeah, he's also gonna question, is the desk dented?
What was your perception from earlier?
His
Bad.
perception from earlier was bad. It was a 14.
Okay, yeah, no. I think actually, now that like you're putting these pieces together, you do notice like a scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna stay there and sort of quietly note, like, what changed and what hasn't. Because he feels like it is important to make notes of that, at least, in terms of figuring out what this mysterious benefactor's intentions are specifically.
Absolutely. I think Professor comes back into the room. Um, he's they're having their moment. He's just gonna let them be. Um, and he's just sort of like standing in the room, like looking around, um, uh, seeming a little like frustrated maybe, and let me see, was there anything? Uh, do you have any? Hmm. Um,
Hmm?
no, sorry, I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. I thought I was in character for a second.
No. Um, I think he's just going to try something. He's going to go to like the wall, um, of Azumi's room, like probably near-ish the door, and just put his hand on it, and cast Identify.
On the door.
Nope, just the wall.
The wall.
Yep.
Let me look at Identify again. Da, da, da. Yeah, no, there is no magic in the wall, or for that matter, I guess you're assuming trying to get like a sense of magic in the room.
No, more of a that would be more detect magic,
Oh,
or more. Um, he was more wondering like uh like was magic used to like help keep this place like this, like, or was it all just practical?
yeah, no, you don't sense any magic.
Mm. It also doesn't help that like he doesn't have any discrepancy like objects to just like focus on. Otherwise he would cast Identify on that. So he's just kind of like, I don't know, can I do the apartment? Apparently not. Like,
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, you're not. There's no magic going on in the room. As far as you can tell, this might have just been practical. Um,
mhm.
um, but yeah. Is there anything else you want to look for or anything at all?
Neil is gonna ask Professor if he found anything.
No, I was trying to figure out if well, uh our benefactor does seem to be uh decently powerful, decently, very powerful magic user, but was curious if anything uh had been used to uh preserve this place, but uh the best I can tell, um I haven't found anything to suggest that is the case. But it It is hard to say for certain, but I don't know. They could have just come in every weekend and cleaned.
I mean, I was
Which is,
found. Oh, continue.
he says, which is a little obsessive for 2 years.
Izumi kind of pauses and he says, maybe not for 2 years, but I was found with Gias.
Yes.
Would it be too far fetched to assume that someone came on their behalf? Someone who might have been related to the apartment office?
Somebody who just had orders to leave the place alone, but keep it tidy.
I mean, it would make sense in some way. Maybe we can check with the people who manage the apartment if there's anything awry there. Assuming that there's something still there. There might not be, but
At the
it's worth
very... Oh, yes?
it is worth a look. And it would also have to mean that this person would, well, they probably have to know where you lived, or at least have a way of finding that out.
Well, if it was known to the police, then it wouldn't be too difficult for them to find out, I don't think. Not because they necessarily have a police connection, but because they have keys.
It's true.
Oh
But we
shit.
could...
There was
Huh?
something else you could find in the closet.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
There is a box of a bunch of contracts.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes, I want to see those. I'll just pretend Professor forgot that was there, and he's gonna go look it in.
Just waltzes back in, and Camille's gotta follow suit once more.
Yeah. Most of them are, again, contracts. These are people Azumi was ordered to kill.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I guess you could say the client, the person requesting the hit, the person who is officiating the contract, which is Endo, and Azumi, who is the hired assassin. You went through the mental shutdowns and psychotic breakdowns cases. Some of those do match up.
And there are various clients, I imagine.
Yeah, various clients. Most of these, I would say with your investigation role from earlier, most of these were people who were in political seats of power. People who were trying to get on Endo's good side and then get their way with what they wanted.
Yeah.
Did Camille know that it was for Endo specifically at this point?
I mean, at this point, probably yeah.
It was kind of, it was kind of said when he got like arrested and stuff.
Okay,
like,
cool.
He was Endo's assassin.
Yeah, Endo's lapdog.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, I'm just trying to mentally get everything in order.
Yeah, no, valid.
Yeah, because so he knows that, doesn't know about the blood relation though.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hmm. How old were you when you started?
He kind of pauses and he says, 15, 16, give or take.
Hmm. Uh,
Oatmeal?
hmm?
Oh, I thought you were saying something.
Nope. Nope. Just doing a sigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I don't really think Camille would have much of a reaction to the age considering what he did at 13.
Whoa.
Hmm.
So congratulations, you have like the two people who are least capable of judging the age here.
Well, Professor has an idea of what an average humanoid should be doing when they're 15. Uh, I mean, to be fair, like time czars are in school until they're like 30, so like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Professor is like in the exact opposite direction.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, he was a student.
Yeah.
Around the time he started doing this. And just for funsies, one last investigation roll. Um,
Okay.
Sure.
just for something specific.
Yeah. Oh my god. Now you fail me?
I look away.
In that case, it's a little bit better. That's right, Camille's got it. Still, that's 17's not too bad.
Yeah, 17's not too bad. I'll say you'll get it. This entire time, you've been in the apartment, you've seen stuff related to Azumi's school history. He was on top of his grades. In fact, he was well on track of being, I don't know if Japan has an equivalent of a valedictorian.
Hmm.
But,
I don't know.
I don't know either. Um, but, like, he was an incredible student who studied hard, even when he was still doing cases and, you know, his night job.
Yeah.
This entire time, though, you don't see anything resembling a high school diploma.
Uh,
Uh,
mm. I think he's gonna comment on that. Um, Azumi,
Mm.
did you drop out of school?
Ugh.
uh,
Actually, where's Dice Parser? Okay, he rolled pretty well on both of those rolls.
Oh yeah.
You see him kind of flinch and look away, and he's kind of very, very quietly, he just says, "No, I died before I could graduate."
Yeah, Professor just sort of like closes his eyes and winces.
yeah, Camille does wince at that a bit. Yeah, yeah. I see.
Professor just looks like mad. He's just like silently fuming.
Especially with that hunch you have, huh?
Hmm.
So, so Azumi's current age is definitely not that of a high schooler, right?
Yeah, no, he is 21.
So, when you woke up, you were already older.
He kind of glances down and just nods. Like, glances down at you.
Yeah. It's fine, don't worry about it. But yeah, it's just we'll gently you know, get close to Azumi again if he'll allow it.
Yeah, no, you're free to.
Yeah, because that's not exactly a fun experience.
Nope.
Yeah.
Those are funny little J-ass hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, no high school diploma, no pictures of his family. Uh,
Uh,
is there anything else you want to look for? Um, oh yes. Um, in the box where you found all those contracts, there are also like not necessarily contracts, but papers that are talking about people of interest, like the wording on those papers are like trying to figure out whether or not it is worth to go after them.
Potential hits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, are there any names, uh, I mean, other than ones that, wound up dead, ended up on a contract, are there any that, Professor, uh, that would stand out to Professor, like he recognizes them or anything like that?
Yes.
That is a good question.
Yes.
Mm.
Sayoshi Hiko stands out.
Ah. Uh-huh.
That is probably like on the top of that list. That is the first one you come across.
Yeah.
Um,
He just kind of thinks about it and he's like, Yeah, that makes sense."
um, do you show these to Camille at all?
Ugh. Um, uh, Camille was,
Camille is still by Azumi.
Yeah.
Unless Camille wants to look.
Um, if Azumi is holding on, alright, he might slip over for a quick look.
Yeah, he's holding on all right. I'll say he's like going to take a seat on the bed just for a moment for him to like
Yeah.
calm down.
Professor will just hand, like, the papers to Camille as he goes through them.
Yeah, so he's also gonna leaf through them. Uh, probably silently understands that, okay, time to see if there's any names they know.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, let me scroll through something because there was a character that you would recognize as uh, who was a target, someone who was assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the both of you read that book on cognitive science.
Yeah.
One of the people who was assassinated is has the same name as that author, Wakoto Ito. I'm going to mispronounce this. Wakoto Itoi. I can't do it. I
Do you
can't
want
do it.
to
I'm gonna
do you
I'm
want
gonna
to stick
post
this?
it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
post it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wakoto Ito.
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 Ito. Wakoto Ito.
Once again, listening audience, we are all American and not Japanese
Sorry.
in the slightest.
We are just trying our best.
I'll, I'll
Sure.
I'll look it up later. But you do find her.
Mm.
She was a someone who was studying cognitive science in a lab. By the way, she was part of a research lab,
Mm.
and her there are notes on the contract saying that her research notes needed to be retrieved by any means necessary. And
Oof.
yeah, when she was killed, you see a note saying that they had staged a a note.
Yeah.
Aha.
Endo's
Yeah.
men had staged a note for that.
Yeah.
But as for like people who were targeted but not who were considered as targets but were not like assassinated, Camille, you recognize Tomomi Masaru.
Oh, that's fun.
That is Dr. Tomomi Masaru. The the notes say that he was also researching cognitive science, and he was slated to get his own research facility pursuing that endeavor. In fact, he was researching cognitive science in a therapeutic sense,
Mm-hmm.
but the proposal to assassinate him was refused, and instead there is a note about his the research's funding being cut and the construction of the building being transferred over to a different project, which actually I'll keep that info for if you want to do more research later.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow, that's interesting.
Quite.
Uzumi's kind of looking up from where he's sitting.
Oh, well, cognitive science, we know, is involved in our sort of overarching case.
Yeah, Uzumi's gonna stand up and like come over to look at the paper you're looking at specifically.
Yeah. Professor will point out Wakoto Ito.
Yeah, you point that out and he immediately gives it back to you.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, he would do this. Yeah, you hand over the one with Wakoto, Wakoto's name on it. He looks over it for all of about, let's say, 5 seconds, and then hands it back to you. And that was a deception roll.
Hey, time to. All right, Camille. Thanks.
Yeah, I can't beat that. So. Ah,
It's my
detective on
disgusting little
detective
boy.
violence.
Yeah.
Camille, sorry, Camille, for a fraction of a second, you saw guilt flicker across Azumi's expression, and not like just ordinary guilt. This was a lot of guilt.
Yeah. Something wrong?
He kind of says, "No, that one was from years ago. What's the other one?" And that is Azumi speak for he does not want to talk about it right now.
Yeah, Camille will accept that.
I wonder if the author of the book is still around.
She was the author of that book.
Oh.
And Azumi's gonna look over the one for Tomomi Masaru, and I am going to roll him another history. Okay, yeah, no. He he reads over that one, and he takes a moment. He kind of squints at it, and he's like, I don't remember much about this one. Name is familiar, though.
Isn't that, Arata's, his old school counselor?
Yeah, I actually, had a, meeting with him a little bit ago.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. Yamazaki-san mentioned him. He was her, grief counselor.
Ah.
But, ultimately, we decided not to take him out of the picture.
Well, the, cut funding seems to have been effective. I think, what was it? What was it Jeannie said? He was trying to work on cognitive science in a more of a therapeutic sense, but was having a hard time, I think, getting anywhere. Probably for lack of resources.
And Izumi shrugs and he says, I wouldn't know too much about it. I just know what the reports say, and the reports say that he was, in Endo's phrasing, poking his nose where it didn't belong.
Well, it'd be worth it to talk to him to see if he has any insight into this cognitive science business.
Me trying to remember the contents of that FPS.
Yeah, no, if you're thinking of the one with Camille and Masaru, I don't think they really talked too in depth about his research.
Yeah, like I think he kind of just went and talked about it in terms of like the therapy sense.
Yeah.
Just like how like changing your viewpoint of reality can help sort of deal.
Yeah.
So Camille will offer up that information at least.
Yeah, to put it in like terms that would have been used in that conversation, it was more like if you managed to change a person's perspective of their trauma, you could help them better cope with it
Mhm.
to help heal those more traumatic wounds rather than just like physical wounds.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he will like explain that to the professor.
I see. Well, sounds like a good start.
Hmm. There is basis in it, yes, but messing too much with the Paraverse can lead to quite a bit of trouble. And he kind of gestures to himself.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, I don't need to.
Camille will because sometimes you do just need a stupid joke. He'll just helpfully tack on, well, I need to.
Azumi just kind of pushes your hat down over your eyes in a
There is a
playful.
little there's a little indignant squeak as he pushes it back up, but he is glad that the joke helped.
I,
Well, this place wasn't trapped. That's something.
yes, well, I, truth be told, don't know how I feel about staying here.
You don't have to.
I appreciate that.
I mean, just seeing this place. I don't know. If I thought somebody was going to come randomly to clean it, possibly under a geas, I don't think I would want to stay.
Oh, absolutely not.
I love you guys so much. And Azumi just kind of shrugs and he says, well, I suppose if there's nothing else left for us here, we can just leave. And check
Hmm,
in with the apartment staff.
right. If any of them have been coming down here to do that, we can tell them it's no longer necessary.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to uh take with you? I mean, if you're not going to be back anytime, uh, well, I mean, you can come back anytime you like, I guess. Uh, but I mean, anything that you maybe don't want to leave to, I don't know, whoever's coming in here and moving things around.
We'll give the closet one last look.
Mm,
He kind of rubs a hand against his face. He's kind of tired. It's that kind of tired. I'm not gonna make you roll insight. It's that kind of tired where you're like bad memories.
Yeah.
yeah.
Neil's gonna drift a bit closer to his side.
Professor just sort of like, uh, smirks a little bit, remembering something, and he says, "Did you really have an A on your belt buckle?"
I was did not exactly have much of a say on how that appearance turned out.
Hmm.
So it just randomly happens?
How about we stop talking about this?
I don't know.
You have to admit, it is a little funny.
Shut up! Shut up! I can't defend this boy. His briefcase has a giant letter A on it too.
Oh man, and Camille would know that.
Yeah.
When I think Camille does give a little smirk, and she's just. Besides, I don't think
He shoves a hand on your head before you can finish that sentence.
There's another indignant squeak.
We're done talking about this.
I don't know if you're even allowed to judge my past self anymore. That cape?
You know what? I've decided that I am going to lock myself in the closet. And he's gonna walk in there. In all seriousness, he is going to take like a moment to like look over the stuff.
Yeah.
In there, he probably asks for you to wait for him in the by the front door.
Yeah, Professor was going to leave him to it anyway.
Yeah. He when he comes back, he has the sheath for the he probably brought a bag with him. It's a small bag. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
So he has the flame-tongued rapier with him. Is in a sheath. And he's got that. You lot don't see this one because it is in his bag by the time he walks out. But he has taken a toy gun. And if anyone has seen the OVA for Persona 5, you know. In his hand is one of those traditional good luck charms that you would see, like, not necessarily gift shop. These looked like they were gotten somewhere a little bit more authentic.
Yeah, maybe a shrine?
Yeah, it was likely from a shrine. So he's holding that in one hand.
Question, because I have to ask this question. What shape is it in?
It's a rectangle.
Okay.
Like one of those little packets.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, if you just Google Japanese good luck charm, you get an idea.
Yeah. I simply had to ask for reasons.
Yeah, no, I know. I look at you and your gay-ass detective. Yeah, no, he's...
Actually not from gay reasons, but thanks.
Yeah, no, he has that good luck charm with him. And he just says, well, I've got everything that I wanted now. Anything else we need for later? And he is going to head out the door.
Yeah. Guess they're going.
Yeah. And his grip is a little tight on the good luck charm that he had gotten from Yamazaki-san long time ago. And if you guys don't have anything else to add, I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for playing with me.
Yes, thank you.
And oh, were you saying something, Fletch?
I think the only thing is Camille might, depending on how tired Azumi looks, Camille might suggest like stopping to pick up a treat or something.
Oh yeah, no, he will take you up on that offer.
Because sometimes you just gotta treat yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. And thank you to our listening audience, both now and in the future. For now, though, we are going to bid you a good time zone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.